Episode 5. The early church worshipped on Sunday. The historical myth. A favorite argument among Sunday keepers is the early Christians worshipped on Sunday to honor the resurrection. It sounds convincing until you open the Bible. This claim is one of the greatest myths in Christian history, based not on scripture but on later human tradition. Let's dismantle it carefully, using Thayer's lexicon, the New Testament, and simple, unavoidable questions. First, we must ask, where is the command? In all the New Testament, there are exactly 8 references to the first day of the week. Not one of them commands worship. Not one of them sanctifies Sunday. Not one of them replaces the Sabbath. Meanwhile, Hebrews chapter 4:9 uses sabbatismos, a keeping of the Sabbath, Thayer's lexicon, and declares that Sabbath keeping remains for the people of God. Let's expose the Sunday myth with a series of powerful questions. Challenge number 1. If the early church officially changed to Sunday worship, why is there no New Testament command, no apostolic letter, no church council in the first century mentioning it? Let's walk through the 8 first-day verses. Matthew 28:1, Mark 16:1-2, Luke 24:1, John 20:1. Women went to the tomb. No worship service, no command. John 20:19. Disciples gathered behind locked doors for fear of the Jews, not to start Sunday worship. Acts 27. Paul met with believers to break bread on the first day because he was leaving the next day. Acts 27-11. This was a special farewell, not a new weekly worship service. 1 Corinthians 16:2. Paul asked believers to set aside offerings at home, not in church, for a later collection. None of these verses command Sunday worship. None of them call Sunday holy. None of them mention a transfer of the Sabbath. Illustration time. Imagine a family who always celebrated their wedding anniversary on June 6th. One year, they happened to gather on June 7th for a reunion. Would that suddenly erase their real anniversary date? Of course not. Similarly, one meeting on Sunday in Acts 20 doesn't cancel the Sabbath God blessed from creation. Challenge number 2. If Sunday worship was established by Christ, why didn't Paul command the Corinthians, Ephesians, or Romans to meet every Sunday? The truth is, the early Christians kept the Sabbath. Paul's manner was to worship and teach on the Sabbath. Acts 17:2. Gentiles begged Paul to preach the next Sabbath, not the next Sunday. Acts 13:42-44. Jesus, our example, kept the Sabbath. Luke 4:16. No text records a transition. No scripture declares Sunday sacred. Historically, it was only after the 2nd century, under Roman influence and persecution, that many Christians began adding Sunday observances, first honoring both Sabbath and Sunday, and later abandoning Sabbath altogether under pressure from the Roman Church. This was human tradition, not divine revelation. Challenge number 3. If God established Sunday worship, why did it take 300 years after Christ's resurrection, Council of Laodicea AD 364, to officially outlaw Sabbath keeping? The New Testament church kept sabbatismos, literal Sabbath keeping, as Thayer's lexicon affirms. They honored the day God blessed, not a human substitute. And Jesus warned of such changes. Full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own tradition. Mark 7:9. Today, we must make the same choice. Follow the tradition of Sunday, birthed by man, or return to the Sabbath, blessed by God at creation. Final challenge for episode 5. If Sunday worship is from the Bible, where is the verse, the clear command from Christ or his apostles, that says, worship on the first day? Answer: it doesn't exist. Sabbatismos still remains for the people of God. Sunday worship is a historical myth, Only one day bears God's eternal blessing, the seventh-day Sabbath.